Welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5 for this Tuesday, June 4th. This is episode 105, and we are bringing you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. Today, that includes Looney being out for the finals. We have optimism on Klay. We have Jacksonville picking up a wide receiver, and we have some baseball injuries and comebacks. So we'll get to all that news right after a word from our sponsor, mathradio.com, where you can go and pick up an online math course for as little as $9.99 for your kids ages 7 through 17. Help them get better grades in school, higher scores on exams, and even help your kids get into college. Once again, that is mathradio.com. All right, everybody, let's start off with the NBA Finals news. The games start back up again tomorrow for Game 3 on Wednesday, but today it was announced that Looney for the Golden State Warriors is probably out for the finals. He was performing very well at the center position. He has a right upper body fracture. I guess that means a fracture in his shoulder? I don't really know exactly, but it seems like he's going to be out for the rest of the finals. That means they're going to have to be dependent even more on Boogie Cousins. It would certainly help them a lot if Kevin Durant came back now, as they have, Looney's out, Iguodala's injured, Klay's injured, Steph has the flu. I mean, this team is a mess right now. Speaking of Klay, there is optimism that Klay will play in Game 3 despite a they're calling it minor, hamstring strain. He's still listed as questionable right now for Game 3. I expect him to play tomorrow, but will he be limited? Will the shot be messed up? That is a question. And there's also no KD news, which can't be good, right? There's not even he's questionable. He might go. He might try. I didn't read anything this morning, so we'll see if something comes out later on today. The series price has dropped down to minus 300 for Golden State. Man, I don't like this at all. We picked it up earlier at plus 160 on the second day. So that was nice. But, man, minus 300 with all these injuries makes me nervous. Game 3, Toronto is a 2-1 underdog. So you can bet 100 on Toronto, get back 200. I think that's good odds. I think it's plus 197 to be completely accurate. But they're also getting 5.5 points if you want to go that way. I'm sticking with Golden State. But, man, there's a lot of late reasons to like Toronto in this Game 3, plus 5.5. Or just bet them straight up and get plus 200. There's a lot of injuries going on with Golden State. It makes me nervous. At some point, this is going to become a critical mass where they just can't recover from all these injuries. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. We got all our units bet on Golden State. Anyway, let's move over to the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars have signed wide receiver Terrell Pryor Sr. Apparently, he had a senior to his name. Don't know when that happened. But he hasn't been good in 3 years. In 2016, he caught 77 balls. I believe that was with the Cleveland Browns. And then in 2016, he caught 77 passes. 2017, he only played 9 games and caught 20 passes. 2018, he played 8 games and caught 16 passes. For you math majors out there, that's only 2 catches per game that he played, and he only played in half the season. So will he have value for Jacksonville? Well, there's certainly opportunity there. They only have one receiver who has more catches than Terrell Pryor in his career. That was Marquise Lee. And, the receivers stink, so he should get every opportunity to play. Will he be healthy? Will he be able to stay on the field? Will he be productive? That's another question, but he should get all the opportunity in the world. I don't mind picking up Terrell Pryor as your last wide receiver. Take him as a sleeper. It could work out. You never know. And if not, you just drop him. Who cares? He's worth $1 or $2 in a fantasy auction. Let's move over to baseball. The injury side of things. Phillies outfielder Andrew McCutchen sprained his knee. Yesterday, he's going to have an MRI, I believe today. He's been hitting .256 with 10 home runs and 29 RBIs, but only 2 stolen bases. There was once a time when McCutchen filled up the entire stat sheet. That doesn't seem like the case anymore, and he won't be filling up any stat sheets in the near future as he's probably going to go on the IL. Speaking of the IL, there is a player coming back from the injured list in Minnesota. The Twins' Nelson Cruz is back. He's hitting this season .270 with only 7 home runs and 126 at-bats. He's in danger of falling under his magical number of 37 home runs. In the last 5 years, he's hit at least 37 home runs every single year. So at this pace, he's not going to get there. I would kind of buy low right now on Nelson Cruz. I think he's been certainly consistent for a long time. You know what? He might just be falling off because let's look at one more stat. His batting average last year dropped down to .256. That was his lowest in over a decade. That does kind of make me nervous. It made me nervous heading into the season. He's coming off injury. Man, do I feel like he can recover? I'm not really sure. He's got his batting average back up, but is the power going to come back? I don't know if I take a chance on him or not. I guess I would if you can get him for the right price. It's all about value at this point. If he's just available, I mean, I would certainly pick him up. But what would I give up in a trade? I'm not sure I would be targeting him, I guess. So, but anyway, in a daily fantasy option, I think, go ahead and start him. Give him a shot. Nelson Cruz, he should be cheap, and you certainly startable. They should bring, hopefully, some power back. All right. So, anyway, that's Nelson Cruz out of Minnesota. That's it for today on the Daily Fantasy 5. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about game 3 of the NBA Finals, whatever baseball and football news we get as well. We are brought to you, as always, by mathradio.com. Please check them out. Buy an online course for your kids. If you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe the show. We would greatly appreciate it. Tell your friends. If you are listening to the podcast, either on iTunes or Spotify, we would greatly appreciate a 5-star rating, and a review. All right, see you tomorrow.